Okay, the next topic in this built-up column is patterns. So in previous session we have discussed about lacing system. So that is the one way of building the column. Okay, here another way of building the column is built-up column is patterns. So in previous case, if you see, there we have discussed or I have explained that lacing system by using two channels connected face to face. Agree or not? So in that case, we have discussed two channels connected face to face. So in this case, I am going to show two angles connected back to back. So in that case, two channels face to face, and we have discussed it. So now we are going to discuss about again the battening system made for two channels connected back to back. So this is one channel. Okay, this is another channel. So these two channels are placed back to back. So now by using patterns, we have to connect these two channels. Okay, this is how the connection is made. So after connecting these two channels, they look like a somewhat I section. Agree or not? So this is one flange and this is one flange, and another this is web. So it looks like I section, but not exactly I, but it looks like I. In previous class, we have discussed about listening. Agree or not? So after connecting those two channels face to face, then that section looks like, then that built up section of a column looks like a box section. Agree or not? Similarly, here also, after connecting these two channels back to back by using patterns, it looks like a I section somewhat, not exactly. Now let us see some terms here. So this is the spacing x, okay, spacing between the two channels, and we know that here where the CG of these individual channel or component lies. Agree. So now this is the CG, distance of CG in x direction from the extreme edge. So now this is represented with CXX. CXX. This distance is represented with CXX. So now this the distance between the two centroids of the connected components or the components of the built-up column is represented with alpha. So now in this case, what is alpha? So in this case, alpha is equal to x plus 2cgx or cxx simply. Cxx or cgxx means the twice the centroidal distance from this extreme edge. Okay, in x direction. So this is alpha. So alpha is nothing but center to center distance between two connecting components or two connected components. Clear? That is alpha. And we know that this is the cross section. So this is one of the parameters you should remember, alpha. So alpha is the, once again I am repeating, alpha is nothing but center to center distance between the two connecting components. Okay. So now this is the cross section view. If we see the longitudinal view, then we can see the type of patterns or pattern of patterns and how many we have to connect. Clear? So now I am going to show you the longitudinal view and length view. So when we are going to see it, if we see here flanges, so if we look at the flanges in the front, so if you see in this view, so if you observe in this view, the length is perpendicular to this board. So if you see from the side, then we are going to observe this. Okay, so if you see from that view, we are going to observe the number of patterns and pattern of patterns. Clear? I am going to show you now. This is the flange. So this is one flange and this is other flange. So the width of the flange here is, so I am going to show the width of the flange. So this is the width of the flange. So we represent with BF. Okay, and this is the spacing X, and again this is the width of the flange BF. So in this diagram, if we want to show, so this is the width of the flange. So that is width of the flange BF. Now here we are going to provide the battens like this. So battens are always provided straight, but whereas lacing members are inclined. Okay, so lacing members we are going to provide inclinedly, but battens are always straight. Clear? So this is how we are going to provide battens. Agree? So now in this, we are going to connect these battens to the flange by using a connections, either by using a bolt or by using a weld. So here I have shown bolt, so here I am going to show the weld. So this is how the pattern of batten is. So batten we are going to provide as a straight members, but lacing we are going to provide as a inclined members. But for lacing at ends we are going to provide end battens. That is why they are straight. So battens are always straight. So take the diagram first. Later we start discussing the provisions, like what we have done in the case of lacing. So here also we are going to do the same. So first you take the diagram. Okay, so let us see. First, flats are used as battens. So always we use flats as a batting. Okay, so always we use flats for battening. For if we want to connect it two column components by using batten, then obviously we prefer flats. But for coming to the lacing, we may use flats, angle, channel as tubular sections. But usually we prefer flats for lacing. But for batten, no doubt, for sure we have to use flats. Okay, so flats are used as battens. Next, minimum of 4 battens. Minimum of 4 battens should be used. Should be used such that it divides entire column into 3 bays. So now what it is? Minimum of 4 battens should be used such that it divides the entire column into 3 bays. So whenever we are going to connect it 2 column components by using battens, then minimum 4 battens should be used. Okay, not 3, 2. Okay, we should use 4 battens. That is a necessary condition. So if we use 4 battens, then the entire column is going to divide into 3 parts. So that part is known as bay. So if you see, if we show in this diagram, so this is one bay. Okay, this is bay 1 and this is bay 2. This is bay 3 and this is bay 4. So now in this case we have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 battens. So that those battens has divided this column into 4 bays. So but in this case we have used 5, but necessarily we should use 4. So if at all upon analyzing and after designing, we came to know that only 3 patterns are required to connect to the 2 components, but we should not use 3, we should use 4 only, so that the entire column is divided into 3 bays. So those are the necessary conditions, and some other conditions like the pattern should not vary. Okay, the pattern should not vary along the length. It means the spacing between. So if you observe, so this is the spacing center to center distance. So this is the spacing between the pattern. See, the same spacing should be there for the other pattern also. Here also the same spacing. So it should not vary. So likewise, what we have discussed in lacing member, here also the same provision. So what is the provision? The pattern should not vary along the length or height of the column, and pattern on one plane or one side should be a mirror image to the other side. Those are same. Okay, that is because of symmetry. So to maintain the symmetry and ease of connecting the members, okay, ease of carrying out the connection, so we have to follow that. Clear? So the pattern should not vary throughout the length, and pattern on one side should be a mirror image to the other side. Okay, clear? So these are the provisions. So now here we have to show some specifications. So this is the center to center distance between the connections of a pattern. We represent it with S. We represent it with, so here I will write, we represent it with S. So S is the center to center distance between the connections of the pattern. Okay. So S is center to center distance between connections of pattern. Okay, that is S. And C, we know that spacing. So C is the spacing. C is the spacing of pattern. Agree? And after that, if you observe here alpha. So what is alpha? Alpha is the center to center distance between the components of that pattern system. Okay, components of that built up column. Clear? So that is alpha and this is S. So take it down. So we'll start discussing the provisions. Okay, and one more thing, let's look at the board. Here if you observe here, these two are considered as a top and bottom. These two are considered as a end patterns. Yes or no? So those two are considered as a end patterns. So those two, top and bottom, obviously they are at end, so they are considered as a end patterns. Clear? So they are, so this top and this bottom is considered as a end pattern. And remaining, so this and this, these 3 patterns are called as intermediate patterns. Okay, they are called as intermediate patterns. They are considered as a intermediate patterns. Okay, so these are the intermediate patterns. So the patterns provided at the top and bottom are end patterns, and remaining patterns are intermediate. So now if you observe, okay, so these are called as effective depth of the end pattern, and this is effective depth of the intermediate pattern. Agree? So actually here the connection should be provided like this. So this is effective depth of the intermediate pattern. This is effective depth of the end pattern. So it means here I am writing. So as there is no space there, so here I am writing D inter. So it is nothing but effective depth of intermediate pattern. intermediate batten. So D inter is the effective depth of intermediate batten. So next D end. Effective depth of end batten. So effective depth of end batten. So if I show here, so this is D intermediate. So this is D inter. Okay, D inter. So this is D inter, and this is D end. Okay, effective depth of the end batten. Now to get the overall depth, so if you see here, this is the overall depth in this case. So this is the overall depth in this case. D, we represent with D. So D is the overall depth, capital D. So here I am showing capital D is the overall depth. Overall depth. Now, how to calculate the overall depth after calculating? So regarding this effective depth, there is a provision. So regarding this effective depth, there is a provision. So based on the after getting those effective depths, we have to calculate overall depth. Then only you can say width or depth of the batten can be decided. Agree. So based on that only we are going to select a trisection of that batten or that flat. So now to get the overall depth after getting effective depth, see here. So the center distance to this edge is known as end distance. Agree or not? So there is a provision for end and edge distances. So after knowing the end distance, we can calculate the overall depth. So from this overall depth, D is equal to. So for example, if you want to calculate the overall depth of end batten, then effective depth of end batten plus 2 into end distance. So in this way, we are going to calculate the overall depth. So we'll see the provisions for that effective depth of intermediate batten and end batten. After getting effective depth, we have to calculate the overall depth. So which is equal to D end plus means effective depth of end batten plus 2 into the end distance. For intermediate batten also same. So overall depth of the intermediate batten is equal to effective depth of the intermediate batten plus twice the end distance. But for weld, so if you observe for weld, there exists only one depth which is overall depth. So the same provision. So for welded batten there exists no different. Okay, effective depth and overall depth there exists no different, only one. So simply intermediate. So effective depth of inter or effective depth of end batten is considered as the overall depth for welded batten. Clear? So these are the some terms and some terminologies you should remember. So after that we'll discuss the provision. So first take this everything clearly.